Now, in continuation of our Toontastic digital class in literacy, I'll quickly look at one or two things before going to the video. This button here that looks like the settings button brings simple adjustment to your Toontastic setup. So you have the full motion where you can control the character, arms, leg and all that, and only simple setup where you just control only the character. The full motion gives you advantage of controlling both the arms and legs including the character, but in the simple you just control only the character. So it shows you the details that you could add to your animation. Now we'll go to just create a simple project and export that project. Now, in teaching creative writing, you simply need to adopt your stories in your creative writing class for visual purposes, not for reading, because some of the parts of your story that might not work might work as a text but might not work as an image. So that's where your creativeness comes in as a teacher in managing your creative writing class with your students. So we'll quickly go to the short story. Now just use the beginning of the story. I click on this button if I need to add more part to the story or remove extra parts of the story. So just work with the beginning and click on the good sign, then click on the tab there that shows the beginning of the story. While it comes up, you have to actually teach your students several techniques in editing too. Probably you want to add text, add what have you, and full-fledged animation and all that to your story. So let's use this Fruit Ninja. Like, you can also draw your setup. So let's use the Fruit Ninja by double clicking. Now it gives me the option of adding characters. Okay, like you could change the color of your character, change the skin tone. If you want a black character, you use black. If you want whatever color, so we're using a bit brown. Okay, with black hair. So you click on the color and click on the parts you're trying to change, so it looks more Afrocentric. You just type the name, maybe Nathan. Okay. Great. So click on it and you start your good. So you bring it down while it's moving. What you do, you simply start your story. Okay, while it's beginning, so you could add different movement. Toontastic work mostly for action-packed stories, not stories with too much dialogue. Action-packed stories, so you should take note of that. It works mostly, it's mostly creative with action-packed stories, not just stories with simple dialogues. So if you're writing the story, it has to be action-packed. There has to be movement. There has to be several interactions that they are visual or physical. When you're done recording, you click on the stop button there. So when you're writing your stories or trying to teach your creative writing, you need to emphasize that or look for a way to express it to the students so that their stories is more of action than just talk. So you could add moods to your story. Okay. Click. So when you're done, I could add more scene or more plots to the stories to your story. So depending on how you're teaching it and what grade you're teaching, for lower grades you don't need to add too many parts to the story, just scene by scene or stage by segment by segment. So when I'm done, I click finish. Our title will be test case. Directed, you add the director's name and all that, and if you're done, you click on the button there. It's going to render the entire okay, so you could add different conversation, different monologues there, or what have you, depending on how you want to work on your story. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. Now you see, movement makes it much more interesting than just dialogue. If there's too much dialogue in a particular story, Toontastic might not be the best bet. You could try other options like Plutagon and all that. But for Toontastic, it's majorly for action-based stories. Okay, so this is the end of your story. Right. So it's finished playing. You could edit it, or you're not cool with it, you delete it. You're cool with it, you export it. Exporting means you want to convert it to an MP4 file. So the progress bar counts, runs down to the end, and you have it as an MP4 file, meaning you can share it on social media, you can share it with the rest of the class. You could also use it as a way of assessing your students' understanding of a particular action or a process in a story. Mostly it doesn't take much time, depending on how long your story is. So it's also advisable to use during your creative writing class. It should be more of show not tell kind of storytelling. They should show more and rather tell less, because Toontastic encourages more of show tell scripting, or more of show tell kind of story making. So this is the last process. It runs to the end and you have your file. Since you're using a smartphone, you have your file in your video folder. So that's it for our webinar today. Check out Toontastic, try and be creative in your class and see how you could develop much more interesting stories using this video animation app called Toontastic. That's a wrap